Do burglars really avoid houses with dogs? 1. My dad was a cop, and back in the early 70s he had a pit bull. If he was at home and someone approached the front door, the dog would let out one quiet, almost whispering bark. He'd then stand next to the door, watching, but he wouldn't make another sound. Dad always wondered what would happen if he wasn't home, and eventually he found out. One night while Dad was at work, someone broke into the house. Thunder, the pit bull, apparently sat in the dark, in complete silence, patiently waiting for the burglar to close and lock the door. He then relieved the perp of much of his clothing and a large part of his butt. Dad came home to find the living room littered with scraps of bloody fabric, and the inside of the door covered in frantic, bloody handprints. The guy got out. Turns out it was a drug addict who lived down the block. He was easy to find by following the trail of blood down the sidewalk. Dad didn't have him prosecuted, although they did have an in-depth conversation about the young man's future. The guy told Dad that there was no way in hell he'd have broken in if he'd known about the dog. He moved away within a week. 2. I worked for several years as a critical care transport medic for the Texas prison system, and so I spent a lot of time in the back of an ambulance whiling away long rides talking with my patients. Every single one said the same things about dogs. Even the presence of a noisy little chihuahua would make them move on to a less hazardous house, and the thought of encountering a large quiet dog was terrifying. There were plenty of other houses. I train my dogs, especially the big ones, to sit quietly behind me as I talk to visitors at the front door. Those door-to-door magazine salespeople are fundraisers for causes you never heard of who are really just trying to find out who's home during the day and get a peek in your house, get a good eyeballing from my chief of security. 3. I live in an area where, I kid you not, there are 11 drug dealers within 100 meters of my house. I have had many people start to break in, kicking the door, breaking a window. Only one was stupid enough to try and get in after the dog started barking. He was not bit, well, not on the skin. But when I came out of the shower, he was on top of the fridge with his pants and shirt looking like he had gotten into a fight with a lawnmower and lost. After that, only the newcomers would try and break in. And you would not think, meeting my dogs on leash or running the streets when they manage to open the door, my male can open round doorknobs and even unlock a deadbolt if it has a twist grip, that they are mean or aggressive. But come into my house uninvited? I have German Shepherds, and my third dog is a Lab Shepherd pit mix. Good luck to anyone stupid enough to try and hurt me as well. Last guy ended up with 144 stitches in his arm.